Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Rick Show on the radio. Everybody, there's a camera up there. You want to wave to your moms? All right. We got a special theater, South Florida theater show today with a bunch of cool guests. But before we do that, let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of the Black Bats.
Her face. This river.
Going to break up the band or anything like that. Anyway, I'm going to welcome my guests to the show. Mr. Skye Whitcomb from Outre Theater Company.
Outre, yeah.
And Sebrina Gore from the same company. And Darci Dixon, who is a theater actress and film actress from Los Angeles, now residing here in South Florida. She's coming on because she's helping us promote our own theater company, the Theater of Vampires, which is a show coming up at the Infinite Abyss Theater in March.
Woot woot.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. But first we're going to talk to you guys about the Outre Theater Company. But our whole show here is basically going to be about the theater,
woohoo!
You know, which is different than film. I'm finding out as I'm involved in it now. It's a lot different. There's a lot of different approaches to it, and you've been doing it for quite a while, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the company itself is we're in our third season. I've been doing acting and directing since I was a kid, and I know that for Sebrina it's the same thing. We've been just doing this for a long
singing
time.
And doing mostly musical theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into a little bit of a background first before we talk about your theater company and all that. Where are you from, Skye?
I'm a military brat. I'm not really from anywhere.
Okay.
In fact, South Florida, I've been down here for about 7 years now, and it's the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my entire life. But it was cool. You know, you get to... I lived in Europe. I lived in Asia. I lived all over the U.S. And so you got a nice for a kid to be able to experience all these different places and grow up in that kind of environment, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet. Now, how did you get involved in theater? I guess that lifestyle lend itself to?
No, not really. But
No.
it was one of those things that you're like 8 years old or 9 years old, and you're in the school play, and you're like, this is cool. This is what I want to do. People like me when I'm up here, and I ended up finishing out high school at a performing arts high school, and that just sort of solidified it for me that this was where I wanted to go, and this is what I wanted to do.
As an actor, is that what you were?
That's what I
mostly
started
interested
as.
in?
Yeah, I started as an actor. I started directing when I was in college as well, and just sort of went from there. I don't think that I'm particularly good at either of them. I think that I just have really good luck.
No, that's nice to say. Or is it? I don't know.
He
How about you,
lies.
Sabrina? Where are you from?
I'm actually an Army brat too, ironically enough. Yeah, but I moved here most recently from New York. I lived in New York for a long time when I was working up there as an actor. Actually, I was actually pretty lucky to be working up there for a while. And then I born in Michigan, lived in Georgia, Virginia, Jiminy. Wow, that's
Jiminy.
good English. Germany. I've actually lived
you
all
got
over
her.
as well, but Florida's home now.
Okay, and how did you guys meet and start forming your theater company?
We actually met long before Outre was even like a spark in anybody's eye. I was directing a play called You Can't Take It With You that had his wife in it as an actress, and that's how we met. And then a few years later, just sort of came to be, we all run in the same circles. We all know this. I was working for you over at Main Street doing Extremities
Right.
as an actress.
Right.
And we just kind of sat around. Nori Tokoski was one of the original members of Outre as well. So we all just kind of sat around talking and talking about the kind of shows we wanted to do, and Outre was born.
Right. Now, are there a lot of small theater companies or big theater? What's it like for the theater companies down here in South Florida?
Well, there are a lot of theater companies, ranging from the very, very small nonprofits, the independent theaters, to the stronger small companies that they're going to be around for a while. And then, of course, you've got your massive companies. You have your Maltz
regional
Jupiter,
theaters, yeah.
you have your Actors Playhouse, the ones that have multi-million-dollar budgets and all of that. So what would you say? Maybe if we're talking about professional theaters in the Tri-County area, what, about 40? Maybe all
I
told,
don't even know
30
if
or
I can put
40?
a number on it, to be honest.
That
I think
many?
that's actually
Yeah.
being generous, to be honest, but I think they're more fringe theater companies
Yeah.
in the bigger numbers. I have to say it's pretty lush, though. I would use the word lush, and it's growing, especially with the smaller companies.
Is it now? Darci, you've been down here for not too long, though, right?
About a year now.
Okay. Are you finding there's more theater companies or film type of opportunities down here?
A lot of short film. You know, a lot of non-union work down here. For the time being, hopefully that will change soon.
Yeah.
I have been looking for theater work, and it's been tough for me. So I'm glad to
So
have
meet
met you
Skye
guys.
and Sabrina. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I mean, honestly, haven't heard much as far as theater goes around here. So
Cool. All
just
right.
getting into it now.
There we go. So, tell me about Outre Theater Company, and what is it that you are trying to do that is different from the other theater companies? Want to take that one?
We
And remember, you can curse if you
okay.
have to.
There we go. Fantastic.
Clears it all up.
The type of stuff that we do is not what you are going to see at Maltz Jupiter, at Actors Playhouse. I think generally we refer to it as balls to the wall, unapologetic theater. We do stuff that it's off the mainstream radar mostly. A lot of off Broadway, a lot of Chicago, off Broadway. Things that we want you to think, and we want to grab your attention. And we used to have this running gag, and it kind of is still very true, is that if we didn't have at least a couple people walking out of every production, that we weren't doing our jobs correctly.
I wouldn't say walking out. I say if we didn't have a couple of people complain about how offensive we were, we probably were doing our job. I don't want anybody walking out. No, I don't want that. But, you know, we have done shows in the past. For example, Mr. Marmalade is a kind of a controversial show, and we don't aim to be deliberately offensive or controversial. We have no apologies. If you're offended, well, maybe you need to examine why you're offended and not necessarily at us. Mr. Marmalade was the type of show about a 4-year-old girl named Lucy, played by an adult actress, left alone to her own devices. And basically what happens when you leave a child alone, their imagination goes crazy. So she invented this imaginary friend named Mr. Marmalade, who had a penchant for cocaine and sex toys. I mean,
How did she come up with that?
love it.
too much television.
Right.
That was the
Right.
message of the show. So it was one of those things where that's the kind of stuff we do. And we just did Othello over at Broward Center, which is our new home actually right now. So we like to put our own twist on classics as well as new works. Kind of stray away from what the norm is.
How do you find your stories or your productions?
Well, we've got a list of probably about 150, 160 shows that we want to eventually produce. And, it's stuff that we've seen, stuff that we've read about. I know that for me, I keep up with the Chicago scene and with the off-Broadway scene and, what shows are going on and what sounds interesting to me and what sounds like an outre style of show. And, I'll order the script and we'll take a look at it. And Sebrina knows a lot more about musical theater than I do. I'm not a musical theater guy. And so the musicals mostly come from her mind. And then we argue back and forth on the straight plays. And usually she's right. And I need to learn to stop arguing.
Usually I'm right
and let
because
her
we
go.
can't afford it.
Right.
Is the argument.
Which is harder to do, a musical?
Musical.
Yeah,
I imagine
definitely.
so,
Hands down.
right?
Absolutely. You have to have,
Definitely.
it's a whole different skill set. You have to have not just good actors. You have to have good singers who can also act, sometimes good dancers. You have to have musicians. It's much more expensive to produce a musical.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bet you know. Yeah. And if you don't have the right singers, it's over. I mean, great actors can pull off only so much, but if you can't sing the part, it's over with.
Right.
And you need the band members. We always use live musicians, not tracks.
That's
And
cool.
you just can't sell tickets for $40 and expect people to listen to a track. I am not a fan. But
$40.
It's
Wait a
expensive.
second, Darci. We're only charging $20 for Theater of Vampires. What's going
Yeah,
on
well,
here?
you get some
sorry,
people to
Darcy.
sing and dance, then we can up that
That's
price.
right. There you go. Well
That's
done.
what
Good
it
save.
is.
Excellent.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I think musicals are definitely harder to produce, but
Yeah, most certainly, because it's just the logistics that are involved. Because you're not just dealing with your actors, you're also dealing with your musicians and your the talent it's a different kind of talent to do musicals.
you have to direct them differently. Frankly, you really do. Like making sure all the pieces fit together smoothly. With a play, you don't have to worry about seamlessly editing the scene, to use a film term, into the music number. It has to. You know what I mean?
of it.
You don't have to think about that during a play.
I just, it was about a year or so ago, I saw one of those musicals. It was pretty good. It was Hedwig and the
Oh God, I
Angry
love.
Inch.
Oh, yeah.
Hedwig.
And what I like about that is that, there's the musicians are playing, singing, and acting at the same time.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's
That
on our
was-
list.
Yeah?
Trust me.
Yeah, it's
Eventually,
touring right now, though.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting it.
Right. So, our mutual friend, Erin Dalton, who is the one who put that on there, she did that at a couple different places or a smaller venue, but now she's got a new venue
right
there in Wilton Manors called Infinite Abyss Theater.
I did the Krampus show with her over there.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Yeah, I was one of her
awesome.
actors in that show.
Awesome. Okay, good. So it's all kind of incestuous here.
Oh God,
definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the right word.
Okay.
Absolutely. Everybody
All right.
knows everybody. Everybody's probably sleeping with somebody else, you know.
That's how that works.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh, I get a look over here. All right, so you have a couple of productions. I was looking on your website there, and you have like 3 productions that are like happening one week after another, and I'm
Almost,
wondering,
yeah.
how do you do that? We're just struggling with the Theater of Vampires, doing one. Of course, we're kind of new at this business, so I'm glad to talk to you and maybe learn a little bit about what it takes to do a theater production.
cocaine.
Damn it.
I was about to say alcohol, but that works.
I
too.
got to get back into
lots
that.
and lots of alcohol.
But it's you don't sleep a whole lot.
That's why I look like
Well,
this.
I got that down. That's happening.
Yeah, because we all have day jobs, and you go from the day job to rehearsal, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm in this costume here is the day job. But what we usually get off work at about 5-ish, and then we rehearse from 6 o'clock
10,
to
6 to 11,
10:30.
depending.
Yeah, and then you
But then you still
familiar.
have your stuff at home. You still have your responsibilities. You still
Yeah.
have
Laundry.
families you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Chores. Oh, forget about laundry. The laundry in my house right now. I should just buy a whole new wardrobe and light a match on that right now.
So sleep when you're dead, basically is
Basically.
what that's like, huh?
Yeah. It's one of those labors of love. It's everything
That
at
is.
once, and then you've got a small break where you try to regroup and you try to
Right.
catch back up on your sleep, and then you're back into it. But then it
boy.
never really ends. Even when we stopped. What Othello ended end of November.
End of December.
End of December, pardon me. And so for the past month and a half, we've been working on these shows that are coming up. Even though we weren't actively in rehearsals, we were prepping
Production.
for them.
Right. So do you have a troupe of actors, or do you pull actors? Are you using the same actors a lot, or how does that work?
It goes back and forth. We do have every company, whether they admit it or not, has a group of actors that they always call on, that they're always going to kind of go to. You call them your favorites. You can call them whatever. That you will automatically generally just kind of pull in and either cast them or
This person be good for this.
yeah,
This person be good for
or
that.
you call them back to read for the role because you can see maybe multiple people in that same role. But we also hold open auditions. It's a mixture of the things, and I think most companies will do this. They'll hold open auditions. We love to bring in new people. New people are some of my favorite.
Yeah.
Like you find new hungry people who you haven't been able to use, and you could finally use them. And then you go to your old standbys. Like we have a few actors that we love to work with that anytime we can, we try to bring them in and see if we can use them.
Yeah, because they're actors that you know that they'll be on time, they'll work their asses off, that they'll put in what's needed. But at the same time, part of the problem down here, and I'm going to jump on this, especially for actresses, is that there are so few female roles down here to begin with. And then when you're using the same women over and over and over, it makes it so that actresses have a really difficult time breaking in down here, just because, that role's already been cast, that role's already been cast, that role's already been cast. And even when it's not, you walk into an audition and you see a particular actor there or a particular actress there, and you're like, oh, I might as well go home, because you know that it's likely that they'll get that role.
Because they have the relationship with it?
Right, because the relationship's already established.
Sure.
As Sebrina was saying, we try to do our best to bring in new blood as much as possible because of that hunger.
But I don't want that to come off as a negative thing. I
no, no, no,
understand
no.
the familiarity. Wow, my English is real great today, y'all. Sorry. I understand the familiarity that comes with working with certain people. Like there are people who are just going to do a damn good job. Why wouldn't you use them? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you know what I mean? So it's a catch. It's almost a catch-22 in a lot of ways, where a lot of us actresses complain, they're casting so and so again, but then you go and see so and so, and it's like, well, they were really good.
Right.
know? So
Right.
you kind of can't blame the director for using them in a lot of ways. So you really do have to look at it from both sides, because we're both producers and directors. We're both also actors. So we have to be very fair about it. And you learn how to navigate that minefield with your friends at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's rough.
Tell me
man.
about that. That's
rough.
That's an interesting one. I had to sort of navigate that being new going.
Yeah, it is. It's rough. And it's, I guess, even more so for us because our spouses are also actors.
Ooh.
And
Oh boy.
yeah, that's always fun. But
Fortunately, my husband will never be going up against the same role as me.
that is true. But the when we have the auditions, when we have the callbacks, most of our friends who are in the community, they know that we're going to cast based off of what we think is best for the play.
Well,
and
that
they'll be
should be,
disappointed.
yeah.
But for the most part, they're not going to be angry at us about it. I've never had
No,
anybody
I think
be
disappointing
angry.
is okay.
Disappointed,
I think it's okay to be disappointed. I
You've
mean,
never been trashed on Facebook or anything like that for.
not that I know of. I mean,
not
I
by
don't really-
friends,
Not
but
that not by friends. I I don't really pay much attention to it. I try not to. Everybody, obviously, if you see something that hurts your feelings, you're affected by that. But most times, it's this business. You kind of just have to roll off most of the time or learn from it if there's something valid to be said from it. But more times than not, they're just being whiny little bitches, and you move on with your day.
Well, I mean, it's a business of no.
Yeah.
It is.
For, I guess, as an example, we've got in the season that's coming up, we have, I think it's close to 37 roles available for the season.
Give or take,
and 35 to 37.
Season meaning the year?
The entire
entire
year,
season.
Okay.
from August of 15 through June of 16.
Now, why is that a season?
Well, the original
theater.
reason was because during the summers you didn't have the snowbirds down here, and the snowbirds were heavily part of the theater community or the theater going public. But while that's not true anymore, most theaters still maintain that fall to spring
Okay.
season. But like I was saying, we've got maybe 30, 35 roles, maybe a few more open, and I would imagine that including those people that have already worked with us that will be pulling straight to callbacks, we'll probably have 120, 150 actors come out all told for the season. And so you have to say no a lot. And one of the things that we always try to do, or it's not even try, we always do, is
So far.
we contact our actors. Somebody comes and auditions for us, and we're not going to use them. We're going to call them, or we're going to email them, and we're going to say, I'm very sorry, we're not able to use you for this.
God bless you. Oh, there's nothing worse than just getting dropped off.
Or
Right.
finding out on Facebook, right?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly. And you're sitting there around for 2 weeks and so you haven't heard anything. You're, I guess I didn't get the role, and you have to move on. And
So I shouldn't do that. Is what
no,
you're saying.
do not do that. Do not do that. It's
All
just,
right.
it's personal respect. This person has
Sure.
given you their time. They've worked hard to prepare for you. And the way that we look at it is we owe them that. We owe them the respect to say, I'm very sorry, I can't use you. Now, sometimes it's uncomfortable. You'll have particular actors who will suddenly start asking you, well, why not? Can you give me notes?
right.
And I'm like, I just saw 150 of you. I don't remember why
Yeah.
not.
Oh, well.
But you want to give them that respect.
Of course, yeah, I 100% agree with that. But again, because I'm always playing the devil's advocate in some ways, it's kind of why it works. A company that has 500 auditionees for them, that is impossible to do. I mean, I know the Maltz Jupiter has 3 days of auditions, 8 hours long a piece. They probably see 100 to 200 people a day. There's no way they can call all
And
those
that's just
no's.
the ones down
It's
here.
just the ones
that's not
in
their
Florida.
New York
That's not the New York.
auditions.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where we are still in a place now where we're just small enough where we still can do that. And I'm glad for that. But if we got much bigger, we couldn't keep that promise. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
But
Like I said, we try.
We
and up
try
until
our
now,
best
we
to make sure
have.
we respect everybody's time, and I think that's how it makes the no easier.
Right.
Most people can take the no easier if we've shown them that respect for their time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess they could respect you more too for that.
I hope so.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's the.
And they'll come back
hope.
to audition for us again, and to work with us again.
So I have a question to ask regarding your relationship with theaters. How do you approach that? I mean, do you have like a theater that Outre is working out of mostly, or is there a number of different ones? And how does that work?
Well, right now we're housed in the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Is our new
Wow,
home.
how do you get
in
to
the
the
new River
Met?
Room? We beg. You beg and you plead and you steal and you do. No, we just asked. We went.
Yeah.
We had actually. Long story short, we'd been shopping around Thrill Me, last season's really successful musical.
Right.
We'd been shopping it around to see if another company wanted to go in on it with us as a reproduction. And it just so happened that we ended up at the Broward Center in their New River Room. But we're also one of these companies that genuinely loves theater, so we tend to like be friends with other theaters. Like I'm very good friends with Slow Burn Theater Company, those guys. I've
And we
worked
know
with them in the
Aaron
past, and we know
and
Aaron, and we know
Nicole Stoddard.
Rosalie and Nicole over
Right.
Thinking Cap. Like we actually have friends within the community who we work with I work with as an actor outside. We try to partner with them when we can. They loan us stuff. We loan them stuff. We're renting Slow Burn's rehearsal space right now for this current production. I mean, speaking of incestuous, I mean,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's a
how it
good
works.
thing, I think. You
Yeah,
know, you want
it
the
is.
community to
Yeah,
survive.
why not?
Definitely.
Especially for the smaller companies, because we don't all have the resources. And
Right. You want to share it.
Right, exactly. And when you have a company that's starting to make it, you want to turn around and say, "Hey, somebody else gave me a hand up. Let me give
Right.
Yeah.
you a hand up."
And we have Katie Amadeo from Naked
Yeah.
Stage in our next production. I mean, we're all just
yeah.
hanging out with each other, really. I mean,
You guys need to talk to the LA theaters.
Yeah.
they're super competitive over there, right? Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Which that's a great question, Darcy, because I wanted to ask you if you've done any work in either New York or Chicago or Los Angeles. You know, one of the bigger companies. How does it compare to, you know, down here as far as like the actors go and the whole
Okay.
thing?
So I actually worked in New York and Michigan before moving to Florida. Michigan, it's very small town. Very small town, but they loved it. They put everything into it. Like the whole community would come together to make sure these shows went up. And then in New York, I was working, I won't say full-time as an actress, but I was doing okay. I only had to work one job as opposed to most of us have to work like 4 at a time. So I was doing okay. Very competitive. I mean, there was that few small circle of friends you had, but for the most part, you're on your own. I actually had I had a girl steal my shoes at an audition once. Steal them at a callback. Just stole them.
Man.
But then you have the girls who will loan you your shoes. Like
Right.
you have both of it. It's a completely different environment. I never knew tracks actually were used for professional productions until I moved to Florida. I'd been using live orchestras my whole life. So it was a culture shock for me actually when I moved down here. And since I moved here in 2007, I've seen the community just grow into this massive thing that it didn't used to be, I would say
Right.
even 5 years ago.
Really,
Right.
it's been growing that much.
Oh,
very
yeah.
That's a
much.
good sign.
Very
Absolutely,
much.
exponentially. It's been every year a new theater company's popping up.
And something else that's changed, because we both got down here in 2007. So something else that's changed in it is when we first got down here, it was very, very cutthroat, very, very competitive. There wasn't that everybody paid lip service to, oh, we're a community, but you didn't see it nearly as much as you do now. And I think that the number of small companies has really contributed to that because we realize we've got to help each other out. We don't have donors that are giving us $250,000. We need to help each other.
And I mean, at the end of the day, we all want theater. So, and there's plenty of audience to go around. I see no reason not to help each other, to be
It's a
honest. Like,
rising tide lifts all boats.
Basically,
kind of
yeah.
attitude.
That's good. And one more. We're going to take a bit of a break here at the bottom of the hour. But you guys like have companies sponsor your productions, or how does that go? Or you just
No.
All of our money comes out of ticket sales, and my and Sabrina's pockets.
and our board of directors.
And
have
our
been
right, our
working
board,
very
our
hard.
board is
It's been growing, and they're working very, very hard.
very much so, very much so. But no, we don't have, at least at the moment, corporate sponsors. We don't have large grants or anything like that. I think our average donation size is like $50, and only a handful of donors. But this is what we do. This is we're going to create it like the show that we've got opening this weekend
Tomorrow.
that Sabrina's directing.
She said with fear in her voice.
That show we contacted Stash. We said, hey, we want to do this immersive show in a
Stash
bar
is a
environment.
bar down there in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Right inside a Revolution Live building.
Right,
there.
right.
Yep. Very
And,
cool, cute little building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just talked with them and said, hey, we'd really love to do this. And they said, hey, this is great. Come on in. We'll open early so that you can do your thing, and we'll just take bar proceeds. And so it worked out very, very well for us.
Well, I'm learning a lot about the theater community today here on the show, and we're going to continue our subject there of the South Florida theater. Speak with Darci Dixon when we come back. So let's just take a little break here on the bottom of the hour on SoFloRadio.com.
Here's the latest ratings you asked for.
What is this? Where did all our listeners go?
SoFloRadio.com.
SoFlo, what channel is that on?
It's online, sir. It's Wi-Fi radio.
Oh, I see.
But what channel is it on?
Put your business on the leading edge of media advertising with the SoFloRadio.com network. Unlike antiquated AM or FM radio, your professionally produced 30 or 60-second ad will be heard live on SoFloRadio.com during the day and will be downloaded thousands of times a day on SoFloRadio.com, as well as being heard on our free podcasts on iTunes. Wi-Fi radio and Bluetooth are now available with BMW, Ford, GM Cars and Trucks. Don't get left behind. Contact SoFloRadio.com for details and our very affordable rates. SoFloRadio.com. Stay ahead of the game.
Hi, this is George. You know, trying to get laid all day makes me hungry, so I go to Power Smoothie in Aventura and get the healthiest wraps and most delicious smoothies ever made. I mean, really, the smoothies are so insanely delicious, they're orgasmic. The staff is friendly there and cute. The food is healthy and real, not processed. This is not fast food, it's good food served fast. And they love me there. They even let me create my own smoothie, the Malted Jorge. Go in and ask for one. They're in the Promenade Shops right off of US 1 in Aventura, or call them at 305-792-5338. You can also visit them online at powersmoothieaventura.com.
Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now, 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
SoFloRadio.com. We take comedy seriously. SoFloRadio.com.
Ich liebe die Nacht und mehr als ich liebe dich. Ich bin für immer dein und ich bin für immer allein. There's a light in my heaven, reaching out to touch my skin. I must avoid the piercing radius, shelter in my coffin from the day. Darkness whispers my Darkness kisses me away. Ich liebe die Nacht und mehr als ich liebe dich.
All right, folks, we're back. That was the Black Bats. Very appropriate music for our next segment here, which we're going to talk a little bit with Ms. Darci Dixon.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Darci Dixon is a very good actress, especially since I know I've seen you in my own production of Theater of Vampires. You play Elizabeth Bathory, and we're all very, very happy to have you on board, Darci. Yeah, so the Black Bats is a great band. You met Ricardo. He's my partner and producer. Very funny guy as
Colorful
well.
individual.
Very colorful for a vampire. Anyway, so we're going to continue our conversation about the South Florida Theater. We'll talk about theater of vampires in your role and all that kind of stuff. But Miss Darci, now you've been down here for about how long now?
About a year now.
Okay, welcome to South
Thank
Florida.
you.
We're glad to have you as part of our South Florida community of actors. And where are you from, my dear?
Originally, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, but I moved out to Los Angeles when I was 25 years old, and I was out there for 13 years. Had a theater company out there that I founded with some friends of mine. Ran that for 4 years. I was on the board of directors of that. We did a lot of Shakespeare. We did SNL X-rated shows. We did originals. We did contemporary. We did musicals. We did everything. Great theater company, and they're really going strong right now. 501c3 nonprofit, 99-seat theater.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, so you founded the company, huh?
Yeah, with about 8 other friends.
Wow.
We were part of another theater company, and we had some issues with the way it was being run, so we were like, let's branch off and go do our own thing. And first year was rough. We had to learn a lot. We had to learn a lot about the business side.
I see.
So many forget about the
I
business.
see Skye.
Oh my gosh! Learn how to raise money. Learn, fundraisers,
how to
all
keep
that.
the books balanced. It's people forget about that part of it. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
put on a show.
Exactly.
No, not that simple.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, well, I'm finding out about that too as we,
You
as
are.
we go through and do our thing
You
here.
are.
Yeah. So, what do you think about? Since you've been here for a year now.
Yes.
Yeah, and we met through this association called the Florida Hampton Table. A great group of a collection of mostly filmmakers, actors and actresses, and filmmakers. And as far as like the difference between South Florida and Los Angeles, what do you think? Is there like a big difference between the approach to say theater?
It is. Theater. I'm learning. Well, I'm not really that far into theater. Like I said, this is the first thing I've done theater
Well, how
down
about
here.
the business or in general?
The business in general, entertainment industry, film, it couldn't be farther apart from each other. It's like
Really?
night and day. Yeah, the film industry down here is just so different than Los Angeles. The way auditions are run, the way agents do their business, the way actors prepare as far as what actors think is expected of them.
So when you say different, you mean better, right? Is that what you mean?
I'm not going to say better or worse. I
No.
don't want to get trapped there, but it's definitely it's a completely different world. I would say, I know like Quentin Tarantino said something out in Los Angeles, and a lot of actors pride themselves on this kind of statute is that when somebody comes in for audition, they should be like they're in the 6th week of a Broadway play for an audition. And that is for 5 lines. I mean, you really, really, really need to, be memorized, always have headshots, always have at least 3 monologues, in your back pocket, all that stuff.
Basically be prepared, huh?
Yeah.
Very, very, very prepared. I've noticed that South Florida is a little looser, which isn't bad. I think that's probably due to the industry not being so hot right now, as
mean
far
South
as Hollywood,
Florida?
the union projects go, in South
right.
Florida.
Right.
I think should that change, hopefully, that I think, actors will kind of up their game a little bit because they'll have to.
Yeah. Well, so when we are referred to as the red-headed stepchild of the film industry, is that good
Are you
or
really?
bad? That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I actually went to film school in New York. Like, my major was actually film, ironically enough. So, like, you're speaking my language right now.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard one thing. Some actress just came from Los Angeles. She was part of the South Florida community. She went to Los Angeles for this project. Then she came back to one of the table meetings, and they were on set, and somebody did something really dumb, and the director goes, stop. That's so South Florida. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I've noticed that
So-
the industry down here is very sexualized. And I'm not saying that it's not in Los Angeles as well, because you got your hoity-toities out there too. But I think a lot of actors, I think in the business in general, think that to be an actor, it's more like a walking, talking model.
Okay.
And I have a lot of friends in Los Angeles that are working actors. They're on CSI and shows all the time, making great livings as actors. And they couldn't be farther from being a model. You know, acting's very different than modeling, and down here it seems like it's very meshed.
And even I'm from Ireland, and I swear to God, like, I cannot believe exactly what you're saying. Like, in Ireland, they take it so serious. You know, there's nothing to do with the modeling. It's you know, serious actors and actresses, and I like that.
Yeah,
a lot better.
Yeah, but it's more like a facade, right? Like they think that they have
I think
to
it's
look
more glitz and glamour. People down here, you know, and again, it's not bad. I'm not saying anything's right or wrong, but you know, putting on something really sexy and strutting your stuff, I think that's kind of what the idea of being an actor down here. I see a lot of that. You know, and as far as, you know, do you have training? Do you have a memorized monologue? Who do you study with? I don't get a lot of answers there.
Okay. So what can we do to fix that, huh? Well, we can have actors and actresses like you guys here that have a certain work ethic that want to, you know, change things around, right? I guess that's
there's a
what we
great
can do.
independent film industry down here.
There is.
Very
Yes.
strong one. And you don't see that sort of thing with the independent filmmakers. And they are, in fact, there's a group called No LA. I'm not
NOLA,
going to...
yeah,
I've been there,
yeah,
yeah.
I love NOLA.
I'm not going to move to LA. And it's just these brilliant filmmakers in South Florida. And
Yes.
so when we're talking about the walking, talking models, when we're talking about the silicone and we're talking about all of that, you see a lot of that, like with the commercials down here and with the spots that come in. We don't... How long ago did Rick Scott pull all the funding from?
No idea.
That was just last year, wasn't it?
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Pulled all the funding to bring film projects down here, which
Yeah.
is why the industry is sort of dried up.
Dried
You
up
know, and
big
there's such a
time.
big movement of the people that I've met down here as far as, like you said, independent film and short films. You know, I made a short film when I first came down here, and I've produced 5 films of my own. But I love the ambition and I love the excitement that people who are in the short film business, such as Rick Santis here, the enthusiasm they have. I mean, they're really willing to do whatever it takes to, you know,
That's true.
get off the ground that way. And I've met some great people down here, you know, on the other side of what I was just saying,
Right.
that are very passionate and very serious and very business-minded. And I love that. So again, you know, should the business boom down here, I think those people will really be the people that will take off,
Yeah.
you know, because they're prepared and they're hard workers.
Yeah, there's a lot of good new stuff going on. As a matter of fact, this would be a good chance to talk about the widescreen film and music video festival, which is coming up this weekend.
This weekend, yeah.
That's a
big.
new one with Jared Knowles, who is a South Florida film producer and actor. Got a good idea to start a film festival, and it's really it looks like it's really taken off. And I'm happy to say that my film, Forever, or our film, which is a community film with my partners and Shar Fromhoff, she's my executive producer, and we did that film, which actually was won last year at the NOLA in August for Best Audience
It's so
Award.
good. I saw it. It's such a great film.
Yeah, well, we're opening that festival with will be the first film for the widescreen film
Nice.
festival
Nice.
that's going on this weekend, and you also have one going on, right?
I do. It's on Sunday at 1:00. It's called Hancock of 1776. We have a minor celebrity in there. I produced that out in Los Angeles, so I'm
Yeah,
very
you were
proud of
telling
that.
me about that. What was his name?
Carlos Alizraki.
Right, and he
was also the voice of the Chihuahua on Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell. He plays George Washington in my film.
Right, but he's also best known as for the comedy.
Reno 911. Yeah, he was on Reno 911.
Yeah, that's
Oh
pretty
my
darn funny.
goodness. Yes, the picture just came to my head.
Yeah.
The guy with the tight shorts, right?
He's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That is hilarious. I just can't stop laughing at that one.
Oh, it's a great film. It's about the signing of the Declaration of Independence and just a spoof on that. And it's crass and it's wrong and it's vulgar and, you know.
And we get to see that at 1:00.
Again, I too like to push people's limits a little bit.
Why not?
Good. Well, you guys should talk.
We should talk. Have coffee and
Play it
talk.
safe. Let the other people do the safe stuff. There's plenty of work to go around.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk a little bit about your role as Elizabeth Bathory in
Yes.
Theater of Vampires, which is coming up at the Abyss Theater. Doing a little run starting in March.
Yes.
Yep. So
So excited.
I'll tell you a little bit about the production itself. It was a brainchild of myself and Ricardo Bocanegra from the Black Bats. And Ricardo came to me one day and said, "Hey, Rick, do you think we could put this?" It was like 6 weeks before the actual date that we did it. Because I got this idea for a movie or like a play that involves vampires. Like, so you take all the vampires of lore, Dracula, Nosferatu, you name them all, and put them in a big play. I think that'd be really cool. And okay, you think we could do that? We think we could do that in 6 weeks? And because we didn't know any better, we said, yeah, we can do that.
You're like, oh!
Yeah, exactly. And we actually did. So we sold out the Cinema Paradiso on October 25th. And it's actually goes along with my, I'm a filmmaker more, I was introduced to the theater through the actors that I've, worked with. And so I've been involved with the theater, and I've been working on the combination of theater and film, which is a transmedia type of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what the Theater of Vampires is. It involves, film. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background on a big screen as well, and the actors integrated with live performance and music. It should be a pretty fun production. We got some very colorful characters. Nosferatu, he's a very, since he's a silent film character, whenever he speaks, it's just, all his words are back there on the screen along with some tinky piano and stuff like that. And
very silent film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. But your character now we picked. We're very happy to have you portray that, because we kind of twist you around on this poor Elizabeth Bathory, who's been locked up in her castle for hundreds and hundreds of years. You've done a little research on the actual character, so tell us a little bit about how you approached that role.
Well, it's very funny that I got chosen to be in this role, because Elizabeth Bathory was a fascinating individual. Supposedly, she killed over 650 virgins and bathed in their blood because she felt that it kept her youthful. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't ever given a trial. And she was locked in a tower with no windows, no doors for the rest of her life. Now, I've actually seen a lot of documents on her life saying she was a natural healer, and her family locked her away because it was kind of Salem witch trial-ish, didn't like what she was doing, made up all these stories. One rumor led to another, didn't give her a trial, locked her away, got her castle and her land. So it's interesting to wonder what happened to this woman. Either way, it's a fascinating story. But in this show, she's very, very, very schizophrenic, multiple personalities, and kind of batshit. Yep. And a lot of fun to play, I gotta say. A lot of fun to play. I'm so happy to be playing her.
Yeah, she is batshit crazy, as we say.
That's the only way to put it.
That's a technical term, isn't it?
Yes, it is, exactly. Well, that's the one we use anyway.
You have your own Renfield here.
Yeah, that's right. As a matter of fact, I don't want to leave our producer friend George Rodriguez out. George, say hi or stick your fingers up in there.
Yo.
George. We recruited George Rodriguez to play Renfield in our production.
Because I'm so creepy. Naturally creepy.
He's naturally creepy. Yeah. And he actually does eat bugs. So
what?
Yes, he eats bugs.
Don't.
You don't?
You said you wouldn't tell anybody.
Oh, sorry.
It's paleo.
We won't mention the donkeys.
It's very natural.
I watch shows where they eat bugs.
Yeah,
that's
right.
close. That's close.
Well.
Yeah, but
No.
this show's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. Are you excited? We have a great cast.
I don't know if excited's the word.
Nerd.
Terrified?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
The actors are always excited, and meanwhile, the producers and the directors are like, "Oh God, this could blow up in our face at any moment."
Yes, I'm waiting. I'm going. I can't wait till May. I can't wait till it's May.
I can't wait till Saturday
No,
morning.
April. I can't wait till it's April.
But it always comes together in the end.
Thank
That's
you.
the theater rule.
Somehow, by some act of whatever deity you believe in, it always
it comes
ends up
together in the
It
end.
does, and it will.
It will. Our cast is fantastic, and we have an amazing set. The costumes are phenomenal, and I just love the Abyss Theater.
Yeah,
it's
it's a great little
fun.
theater.
The way it's decorated, everything. I mean, you guys seriously got to come check it out. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
special effects.
And special effects,
Yeah.
yes.
Of course, she's using lots of blood over there. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, Erin's like, she's got a lot of blood going
Yep.
on there. I don't know. Which is weird because she's so sweet and bubbly when you
Yeah.
meet her, you know?
Get to know her.
Yeah, I know. I am. I'm finally getting
Oh
to
no,
know her.
I,
and go,
I love
wow.
Erin. I love her dearly.
Yeah, she's got a dark side.
Everybody's got a shadow side.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Well, except Skye. You know, Skye's just a really nice guy.
I don't have a shadow side. That's all that
shadow.
there is.
It's on the table.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's coming up in March.
March. It opens on March 6th, and it'll be every Friday and Saturday night for 3 weekends at 8 o'clock.
Right.
And yeah, come. There'll be concessions there, and talk with the cast afterwards. And it's an intimate black box theater, which is one of my favorites to play. I love black box theater.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of surprises. It's gonna be a good show for the money. I mean, we're gonna offer a large cast, a really cool special effects, very visual. I mean, it's got a really cool, the video production in it is pretty cool as well. And it actually has a pretty cool little message. I mean, I like to write things that have some kind of redeeming thing in there. And, our show is basically all about judging people unworthy to be a part of whatever it is that you have going. So that's what's going on. So I think people will like the show and kind of dig the message and get a few laughs and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's hilarious. There are parts in it that, I mean, if people aren't slapping their legs, and we've done something wrong.
Yeah. and be warned, those of you who are planning to come out there, there's a new expression that I heard since I've been working with theater people. It's called the fourth wall.
Yes.
And the fourth wall happens to be the audience, and there's certain rules about breaking the fourth wall. We don't have a fourth wall.
We're breaking the fourth wall in this show, so you will be involved in the show.
Yes, you might get a little something on you or something.
Splash
right?
zone.
That doesn't sound good.
Is there a splash zone in
the
this?
Splash zone, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It might be blood.
Could be.
I'm looking forward to it.
What's the website? www.
It's theaterofvampires.com.
Theaterofvampires.com.
Yep,
yeah,
that's one easy to remember.
Easy to remember. Yeah, look it up and get your tickets because they are selling.
Yeah, they are. We got 3 weeks with a 4th optional coming up after that. Mm-hmm. So get your tickets at theaterofvampires.com. Next week, I'm going to have Ricardo Bocanegra himself and Dominic Daniel coming on to the show and to talk more about it.
Oh, by the way, this is a really good thing to know. It is BYOB. I checked that out today.
Awesome.
So if you want to bring little wine bottles or beer with you, everything's always a lot more fun with a drink.
Always.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's better with that. isn't it?
Everything is, yeah.
All right, and we'll have little treats as well. So,
Yes.
So speaking of websites and where to go to buy tickets, Skye, why don't you tell, you guys have some productions coming up here imminently, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we've got one that opens tomorrow, and I'm going to let Sabrina talk about that because she's the one who's directing it.
Tomorrow we have Rooms, a rock romance, opening up tomorrow night at Stash. It's a punk rock musical about 2 kids from Scotland who fall in love and form a punk rock band, and then they go to London, and then they go to New York, and then they grow up because life happens, as we know, to people in this business. But we're doing it in a very cool, immersive style at Stash. And then this is just going to be a sample of it. We're doing a concert version of it because we have it as part of our next season as well for our full production. And then the following weekend, we have another production immediately.
Immediately after.
How do you do that, by the way?
Like I said, no sleep.
Practice.
You get used to it.
The following week over at the Broward Center, we're putting up a stage reading of Marie Antoinette, The Color of Flesh. And I'm directing that, and Sabrina is in it, along with Katie Amadeo and Seth Trucks. It's a 3-person. It follows Marie Antoinette from about the age 19 to right before the Revolution. It's very sexy, very sensual.
There's a lot of making out on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of physicality. But it's about her relationship with her best friend and portrait painter Elizabeth Lebrun, and her lover Alexis de Ligne, and sort of the love triangle that develops between the 3 of them, and jealousy and rage and sex, and it is decadence. It is a beautifully written show. A lot of wit, a lot of banter. But we've got 3 very, very strong actors doing that. And this is one of the shows we'd love to do a full production of. It's possible, but we would need a lot of money for the costumes, and we're not quite sure that we'll have that.
That's a smaller version of a larger
What we
production?
do is we do what we call our signature reading series. We do 2 or 3 shows every year as a concert or a reading that we want to test out on the audience and see if they like it. And then if they love it, we bring it back next season. Or if the reaction is good, or if we just want to do it, we bring it back the following season, which is kind of what's happened with Rooms. The audience, the reaction was already so positive for it that we decided to go ahead and put it next season, and we haven't even opened it yet. Marie Antoinette is one we just kind of wanted to test the waters on. And then if we get a good reaction after our concert or reading series, then we try to put it into a season following to see if we can afford it. Yeah.
And that's actually our last full production of the season is Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson. And we did that with Bloody. We put it up as a concert production. It's sort of a half-realized production. We've got some costumes, some props, some set, some lighting and sound. And we put that up in about 10 days, and the audience reaction was just overwhelming. So we brought that back this season as a full production.
Where's that going to be?
That'll be at the Broward Center in the New River Room. It's a reimagining of Andrew Jackson as a punk rock emo rock star.
Think Andrew Jackson on Green Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right?
I like that.
It's,
Wow, I like that.
A lot. It's
It's
offensive
it's
and in your face.
Yeah, satire all the way. Yeah, but it's still very poignant as well.
Oh yeah.
It basically asks the question: Is the president you want to have a beer with the one you want running your country?
Yeah. Yeah. Just because somebody's a nice guy, just because they're sexy, just because they're charismatic, does that mean that
They should
you
be running the
actually
country?
want them to lead you?
That is a good question.
Yeah, it basically brings back all that historical stuff with Andrew Jackson and the Trail of Tears and all of that, and it's very historical in its context, but it also kind of makes fun of itself. So some people can find it pretty offensive, but that's probably why we chose
very
it.
Interesting. I want to go. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's a great show. We've got a fantastic actor, Bobby Johnston playing Andrew Jackson, and just a brilliant actress, Caitlin O'Neill, playing his wife Rachel. We've got the cast has 13 people. We've got a nice solid lineup, and of course, the live band. And the band is interactive because he's cast in sort of this role as a rock star, so he is with the band, and the band is singing and interacting.
That's fun.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
fun.
so
Going to
much
that.
fun.
That sounds great. It really does. Now, where can people buy tickets for that?
Well, for Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson and for Marie Antoinette, you can go onto the Broward Center's website, browardcenter.org, and you can purchase tickets through that website. For Rooms, you can either purchase them at the door at Bar Stash. It's 109 Southwest 2nd Ave in Fort Lauderdale.
That's a great place, by the way.
Absolutely.
Really got a great atmosphere.
Yeah, that's why we picked it.
Yeah.
Or you can go onto our website if you want to get them ahead of time, and it's www.outretheatercompany.com. It's OUTRE.
You can get discounts through Gold Star too.
Gold Star?
Those of you on a budget, Gold Star.
Okay.
If you never checked out Gold Star, it's
Gold Star is the
goldstar.com.
way to go, yeah.
It's a website for discounted tickets for performance art, for symphonies and plays.
Yeah, we have a great
musicals.
partnership with them. We have a great partnership with them, and all of our shows are usually available on there.
I got to look into that. That sounds like something that we might.
Yeah, I always
benefit
use
from,
Gold
huh?
Star. It's imperative.
Absolutely.
If you're going to continue.
And
later.
next season tickets for the next season go on sale soon, relatively soon.
Yeah, I believe it's within the next month.
All right. Well, there's a lot going on in South Florida theater community here. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I look forward to coming to your shows and working with you with Theater of Vampires. It's going to be great. Again, thanks for coming on the show, and I'll be coming to your shows for sure.
I'll leave you some information before we go to it.
Yeah. All right, folks, that was it for Rick's Show on the Radio. Once again, wave to your moms, everybody, and we'll see you next week on SoFloRadio.com.
Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.